Getting ready for the season.
What, duck?
No. Dolphin. Would you like a drink? Tuna colada, perhaps?
Anything, Eddie.
Welcome back to Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm flying solo this week to break down the 154th edition of the Open Championship taking place at Royal Birkdale. Thank you very much for checking out Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood. Once again, we are presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. You can find our podcast wherever you get your pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the good ones. Our videos are on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Find us on the web at seizethegapff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had the fun, you must click the thumb. Please be aware we are not affiliated with Draftkings or the Draftkings Sportsbook. All odds, news, weather, and wagers are accurate as of Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Before we get to the Open Championship, let's quickly look back at the Scottish Open, the Genesis Scottish Open, which took place last week. Shout out to Tom Kim, won the golf tournament at 17 under. This was his first win since the Shriners Children's Open back in the 2023 swing season. So it's been a minute since he was one of the hottest young up-and-coming golfers on the tour. Very nice to see him get it done. He's been playing very well recently, so very curious to see how he plays this week. Minwoo Lee had a solo second at 15 under, played very well, 66, 66, 66, 67. That is the type of consistency we like to see. Maybe it can lead to a breakthrough for him at the Open Championship. Tied for third, we had Kita Nakajima, Johnny Kiefer, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Robert McIntyre. Fitzpatrick and McIntyre were both liked going into the tournament, so they're in excellent form going into the Open Championship. Rory would have had a chance if he hadn't shot 73 on Saturday. That did him in. He came back with a 64 on Sunday, managed to get all the way up to 7th at 12 under, along with Michael Thorbjornsen. Rounding out the top 10, we had Victor Perez and Siwoo Kim at 11 under par. Couple of surprising names in the top 10 here. That's kind of what we expected. It's a little bit more of a hallmark of link style golf, so certainly expecting to see a little bit of randomness here as well at the Open Championship. Matt Fitzpatrick is just doing it. Him and Goddard are as hot as it gets right now. Bunch of hot golfers coming into the event here, so very exciting. Goddard tied for 11th, just out of the top 10 at 10 under par. Bunch of big names tied for 13th at 9 under. Victor Hovland, Patrick Reed, Tommy Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark. Terrell Hatton tied for 17th at 8 under. Nikolai Hogarth tied for 26 at 6 under. Really had some high hopes for him. Opened well 68-66, but then sputtered a bit, shot 70-70 on the weekend. John Rahm was a mess. I'm kind of surprised he made the cut. Opened with a 73, followed that up with a 65-68, disappointed a little bit on Sunday with a 70, so wound up tied for 36 at 4 under. The cut line wound up being 2 under par. A couple notable names to miss the cut. You had Ludwig Oberg and Patrick Cantley at 1 under. And then at even par, you had Brooks Koepka, Shane Lowry, and Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler missed the cut. He had made 78 straight cuts, and that included 37 straight top 25 finishes. Brooks Koepka is another guy, looked really good after shooting 66 on Thursday, completely fell apart with a 74 on Friday. And Shane Lowry, you're our guy, but you are officially on the Dunzo list till you show me a little something something. At 1 over par, we had Alex Fitzpatrick and Aaron Rai. At 3 over, we had Xander Schauffele and Christopher Rayton. Let's move on to the Open Championship here, starting with the tail of the tape. This is the 154th Open Championship being held at Royal Birkdale Golf Club in Southport, England. This is a par 70, which will be playing 7,223 yards. Originally designed by Frederick G. Hawtrey and J.H. Taylor, there was a big renovation in 2024 by Tom McKenzie. We have 156 golfers in the field. We will cut to the top 70 and ties after 36 holes. Once again, we have a $17 million purse, $3.1 million going to the winner, along with 750 FedEx Cup points. The 2025 champion was Scotty Scheffler. He took it down at 17 under par. That was good for 4 strokes over Harris English. Last time we were here for the Open back in 2017, it was Jordan Spieth who took it down.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
Jamie G is not here, so the meteorology duties fall to me. This is an oceanside golf course. This is true links golf. The weather can be a huge factor, most notably the wind. So please, for the love of all of the gods, make sure, especially the golf gods, make sure that you get the latest, most up-to-date forecast before finalizing your plays for the Open Championship. Knock on wood, there's a lot to like here, although the golf course might play a little bit dry and firm, which could lead to some interesting play around the greens. Thursday, we're starting off with a mostly cloudy day, high of 79, winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. The winds will pick up as the day goes along, getting the heaviest winds in the late afternoon. Almost the same thing on Friday, mostly cloudy, high of 75. Same thing with the winds, 5 to 15 miles an hour in general, gusting a little bit more. Winds are going to increase as the day goes along. Saturday, it's going to cool down a little bit, even though we'll see a little bit of sunshine, partly cloudy, high of 70 degrees. Winds once again in that 5 to 15 mile per hour range, picking up as the day goes along. This looks like it could be the windiest day where we could see gusts in the 20 mile per hour range as the day goes along on Saturday. Finally, on Sunday, basically a repeat of Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 71, winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, generally increasing as the day goes along, with gusts up to about 20 miles an hour possible in the afternoon. This is not the Open Championship weather that we are used to seeing. This is kind of warm and dry for the most part. It means Royal Birkdale is going to lose a lot of its natural defense. That really is the wind. We could see some notable low scoring here. I think the afternoon waves on Thursday and Friday are both going to have a little bit of a disadvantage. Not so much that you can really wave stack because it'll be pretty even on Thursday and Friday, but that's certainly a strategy you could pursue in your showdown contest. The guys with the earlier tee times on Thursday and Friday probably going to look a little bit better. Make sure you keep an eye on the weather again, especially if you are playing showdown, weekend contest, something like that. Things could change in a hurry, but right now it's looking great. So I'm going to be more focused on just pure ball strikers than guys who are great win players. Although I do want to make sure I know that, I want as many guys who have at least played well in the wind if possible, but I'm not going to emphasize it or prioritize it to the degree I thought I was going to headed into the week. As far as overall thoughts on Royal Birkdale, it all depends on the weather, really, and the wind. The last two times we played here, we saw Jordan Spieth go 12 under par to win it. There were 21 golfers under par. Before that, it was last year in 2008. Patrick Harrington won at 3 over par. There were only 4 golfers who were better than 10 over par. Those are drastically different outcomes. Based on the current forecast, I'm leaning something more towards the Jordan Spieth winning score in 2018. I think they're going to be able to go low, but this certainly illustrates what can happen to the scoring if that wind picks up. So for now, I am going to approach this as if it will be a moderately windy affair. That's pretty much you'd call it, if you're using modeling, you would call it moderate winds. We're not quite getting into that really, really windy range, which generally starts at about 20 miles per hour sustained and above. Again, keep an eye on those gusts. This is an interesting links course. It is pretty much a true links course, but the distinguishing characteristic here, in addition to all the bunkers, is these towering dunes that they have. Looks really cool. They can act as a wind funnel and a wind tunnel at times. It makes it a little bit more difficult for the players to judge the wind. So once again, the golf course is going to play a bit easier if the wind does stay down the way it's projected to right now. In general, accuracy is far more important than distance off the tee here. I will say that the golfers have noted that it is really dry right now. Rory did mention that it might be possible to employ a bomb and gouge strategy here if you can get it down far enough. The rough here is kind of wispy. If it's dry, you might be able to put a wedge on it and players might just live with that. So I think it's certainly going to be more of a factor in terms of a strategy than I thought it was going to be coming in. I am still leaning much more heavily on total driving, good drives, driving accuracy, that sort of thing. But I do think if you want to run a couple of different lineups over on DraftKings, especially, there is certainly a world where you could dump a bunch of kind of bomb and gouge guys who are really long off the tee guys in there and hope that that style of play winds up paying off this week. I think the key here is controlled aggression. These are not big greens. We'll see that on some of the links courses. These are slightly smaller than normal. This isn't really a spot where I think you're going to need somebody to make a bunch of 20 footers to win. It's really going to be about finding golfers who can find fairways, stick it close, and then make some, 10 to 15 footers. I think you need to live in that range. Obviously, you need to avoid mistakes here. Creativity around the green is a big plus. You can certainly run the ball up quite a bit. That might even be more of a factor if things are dried out. That might be forced if the greens stop holding, but then it gets really tough to judge some of these things. So I'm going to, again, lean a little bit more on guys who have played more link style golfers who have played well on the link style. You have to watch out for these bunkers here. They're probably the other primary defense of the course. Some of these fairway bunkers are so bad, if you get in it, you literally have to pitch out sideways. They will come into play around the greens. I'm not leaning as much on traditional sand saves here because these bunkers are a little bit of a different beast in terms of it, because you have, again, these revetted bunkers here. They are kind of crazy. The most common bucket in terms of approach range this week, I think, will be 150 to 200 yards. I'm not putting a lot of stock into proximity, but if I am this week, that's the range I want to focus on. I think overall, this is going to be a time I'm going to lean on the ball strikers here. I'm going to swing more for ceiling than floor. Typically, in an open championship like this, I'm going to want guys who are just, very good under difficult conditions, guys who are great in the wind. I'm still definitely looking for guys who performed well in the open championship, guys who performed well in links courses, guys who performed well on majors. But for the most part, I'm going to lean very heavily on the ball striking here. I do want guys, again, who are comfortable scrambling in this environment. The greens are a little bit of a different beast. Once again, they're going to run, I think, 10.5 to 11 on the stimp meter. This is going to be on the slow side. I think they're going to try to slow them down almost as much as possible if the course winds up dry. This can mess with some golfers who are not used to putting on greens that are slow like this, but it can also be a boon to golfers who are generally not the best putters. Your Siwoo Kims, your Hideki Matsuyamas, your Corey Counters of the world, guys that are generally great ball strikers but struggle on the greens. Sometimes this can help be an equalizer for them. So those are an archetype that I'm going to be a little bit more interested in this week. As far as the field itself, this is a very unique and deep field. Basically, all of the best golfers in the world are here. We have a bunch of live guys. We have the best DP guys. We have some guys from the Asian tour. Just about everybody is here. I think Draftkings has been very, very aggressive in the way they have priced the golfers this week. You can do just about whatever you want, but they do have golfers in the 5K range this week, which allowed you to build some absolutely crazy lineups. You're going to have to get a little bit lucky to do so, but I do think lineup building can take place pretty much any way you want it. I think there is going to be a tendency to lean on the non-Americans here. We saw that a little bit at the Scottish Open. Golfers from other parts of the world are generally a little bit more comfortable on these link style courses. I am not going to go overboard with it, but I will say if I'm going to be digging deep, you're going under 7K for a little value play, a dumpster dive, or you want a longer shot on your betting card, I think I will probably look towards some of the Euros, some of the guys from New Zealand, these golfers who have just played a lot more links golf, to be honest with you, and golfers who will be more adaptable if the conditions do change. So I think the player pool makes it interesting this week. I think it's well spread out. They brought Scheffler down a little bit, Rory up a little bit, so they've kind of closed some of the major gaps in terms they had in pricing on DraftKings. I think most of the sports books have done a very good job. You see a couple of loose numbers out there. I think there's some very nice top 20 bets out there. I don't really like to make the cut market this week. Some great matchups. I'm going to play a lot of round-to-round matchups this week on my betting card. So a lot to look forward here. Very interesting field. Great golf course. Final major of the year. Our top 10 in the model this week are starting at number 10. We have Xander Schauffele at 9,800. He's plus 2,400 to win. We have Patrick Cantlay at number 9, 7,000 on DraftKings, plus 5,700 to win. At 8, we have Siwoo Kim, 6,900, plus 4,600 to win. At 7, we still have our guy, Shane Lowry, 7,900 on DK, plus 5,800 to win. At 6, we have Rory McIlroy. He's 11,900 on DraftKings, plus 840 to win. Breaking into the top 5, we have Tommy Fleetwood, 10,500, plus 1,900 to win at 5. At 4, we have Russell the Love Muscle, Russell Henley, 7,700 plus 5,400. At number 3, we have Colin Morikawa. He is 8,700 plus 3,300 to win. Matt Fitzpatrick is number 2, 10K flat on DraftKings plus 1,800 to win. And no real surprise, at number 1, we have the defending champion, Scotty Scheffler, 13,300 on DraftKings plus 650 to win. Here on Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, we are down with the king.
They wanna be down with the
It's time to get into our Draftkings picks and recommendations for the Open Championship. We're going to start up top with the most expensive golfers, work our way down. We only have 9 golfers priced at $9K or above this week. Only Justin Rose and Cam Young are projecting for less than 18% ownership. The ownership is spread out pretty evenly across the other golfers in that range. Those guys are popping as the best possible contrarian plays, at least if you want to pay up for something like that. I think you have enough flexibility to do basically whatever you want. You can actually double jam Scheffler and McIlroy if you want to. I wouldn't advise it. You can do it without it getting crazy ugly, especially if you can find a golfer in the low 5K range that you can stomach playing. I think it's pretty easy to pair 2 guys in this range, something like Fitzpatrick and Rahm. You can pair those 2 golfers together and have just about the same amount remaining per golfer as you would for just playing Rory, and definitely more than you would if you just played Scheffler. So I do think I'm going to lean a little bit more towards playing 2 of those slightly lower price guys in this range, as opposed to jamming Scheffler and somebody else, and certainly as opposed to jamming Scheffler McIlroy. I will have exposure to both of those guys up top. I think I'm probably going to lean heavier on Scheffler for the most part if I'm making a choice between those 2. As far as Scheffler, I think something had to happen. I don't want to say he was in a rut, he was in a slump, but maybe a mini slump, at least by his standards. I think something needed to happen to knock him out of it. A win would have been nice, but maybe missing a cut will do the job just as well, maybe even better. So I slightly prefer him over Rory this week. I think he has the edge pretty much everywhere except for the putting on the slow greens. Again, not really a surprise. Rory's a little bit better on these slow greens. I do think if bomb and gouge is in play, that will definitely help Rory out a little bit. His driving accuracy has been all over the place, but he is certainly longer off the tee than Scheffler. So again, in a vacuum, prefer Scheffler. I am going to have exposure to both. Matt Fitzpatrick is probably my favorite dollar for dollar play in this range. 10K flat, second in the model. He's playing as well as anyone on tour right now. Finished tied for 4th at the Open last year. Little bit of a breakthrough for him. Checks pretty much every box I am looking for, and I think the lighter wins might actually work in his favor. So really love Fitzpatrick this week. And I mentioned I like Rose. I like Cameron Young. I think they're both fine contrarian tournament options. If I had to choose between the 2, they are very close, but I think in a coin flip, I would go with Cam Young over Rose. You certainly could play both of them. That would be a very contrarian start to a tournament lineup. After that, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. Cam Young's 9K flat, 15th in the model. He's just better off the tee. The forecast, I think, fits him a little bit better. If it gets really windy, I would probably shift over to Rose. I know Cam Young has struggled a bit recently, 47, 43rd, 46 over his last 3 events, and he struggled the last 2 years here, missing the cut last year, 31st back in 2021. I'm willing to overlook that. I think he's taken the leap this year, and I love that it's driving down his ownership. He finished 8th and 2nd at the Open in 2023 and 2022, so he definitely had success. He's had success on links tracks in general, so really like Cam Young this week. There are 7 golfers in the 8K range this week. I think they are all viable, but Bryson is my least favorite. That is reflected in him having the lowest ownership percentage in this range by far. He hasn't been playing well this year. He's generally not been the greatest fit on these link style courses. You have all the off the course stuff with Live going on. So again, I don't mind taking a shot or 2 on him in tournaments, but for the most part, I am out. I'm also probably going to be avoiding Wyndham Clark for the most part. He is 8,200. I love the way he has been playing, but he is a guy who has generally struggled in majors outside of the US Open, and he struggled on links courses in general. I will say that with the caveat, he did finish tied for 4th last year, so certainly not a guy I am exiting out of my player pool. I'm just not going to be as high on him as I thought I was going to be based on the price tag and the way he's been playing. If I had to rank the options in the 8K range, I think I would go with Morikawa up top, 8,700, 3rd in the model. Tyrrell Hatton at number 2, 8,900, 34th in the model, but some of those numbers are impacted by small sample size because he's been on the Live Tour for a while. Then you got Robert McIntyre at 3, only 8K, 32nd in the model. There is a ton to like about him this week. I'm going to have a lot of exposure. The ownership doesn't even look as bad as I thought it was going to be. At 4 in this range, I like Victor Hovland, 8,300, 17th in the model. He can get in real trouble around the green. I can see that being a problem here, but the form is excellent. The ownership isn't crazy. The price is good, so really like taking a shot on him. Then you have Chris Goddard up at 8,500. 30th in the model, playing extremely well, played very well in his Open debut last year. A lot to love, basically everything except the ownership percentage. Then right under him, Wyndham Clark, 8,200, 19th in the model. Already talked about him. Same thing with Bryson down here at the bottom, 8,400, came in 81st in the model. Everybody except Bryson is projecting for 15 to 20% ownership. So it's pretty much your choice as far as you want to mix or match them. Overall, I kind of have them being on 4 tiers here. I think Morikawa, Hatton, McIntyre is a tier. Then you kind of have a Hovland, Goddard tier, then Wyndham Clark in a tier by himself, and then maybe Bryson in a tier by himself. I think I'm probably going to have 2 of these guys in most of my lineups, guaranteed. Just about 1 in every lineup, unless maybe I'm doing a hard jam with Scheffler or something like that. I could see lineups where I get to 5 guys in this range. I'm absolutely going to be jamming in a lot here, so I love the 8K range this week. The 7K range is a lot less robust than usual in that DraftKings moved the pricing around quite a bit because we have golfers in the 5K range this week. I like a lot of the golfers in this range. I will say I'm basically out on our guy Shane Lowry at 7,900, Brooks Koepka at 7,600, Justin Thomas at 7,500, Jordan Spieth at 7,200. All of them certainly have paths to viability here. They are high ceiling golfers, except maybe Lowry at this point. I know that the conditions should favor him, but again, the less wind makes it even less likely it works out for him. I was giving him one last chance at the Scottish last week. It did not work out. Same thing for Koepka. I just can't trust him to put 4 rounds together. So these are golfers I might want exposure to in Showdown, but I'm not going to have a lot of exposure, if any at all, on the main slate. As far as my favorite plays in this range, you have Russell Henley at 7,700, came in 4th in the model. Good ball striker, supremely accurate around off the tee, very good around the greens. He let me down at the US Open, finishing tied for 65th, but I'm not afraid to go back to the well. Had struggled at the Open Championship for a few years, but he's finished 10th and 5th the last 2, so I'm hoping his breakthrough can continue this year. Mr. Burns, Sam Burns, is 7,800. He came in 13th in the model. He's probably better suited to windy conditions, but he's 4th in strokes gained at majors, so he can show up when the lights are the brightest. The form is good. He's finished 12th, 2nd, 20th, 4th, and 26th over his last 5 events. I do think if Bomb and Gouge is a viable play this week, that will certainly give him a little bit more win equity. So despite the fact that he has not had a lot of success in this golf tournament, I am willing to go back to the well here. He's been playing well. I think he can keep it up this week. He's a great putter, even if the greens are a bit slow. And then finally, there's Joaquin Niemann. He's 7,300, came in 76 in the model, but again, the model's always going to be a little bit down on these live golfers due to sample size. He is one of the best ball strikers in the field. Seems like he could be primed for a breakthrough. He impressed me at the US Open. I love the price point, not soaking up much ownership. He legitimately has tournament winning upside. I think he's a high-end Bob, a high-end boom or bust player. So really like Joaquin Niemann this week as well. I have varying degrees of interest in Aaron Rai at 7,100 and Patrick Reed at 7K flat. They are nice kind of last guys into your lineup, I think. The model likes Patrick Cantlay, 7K flat, came in 9th in the model, so I'm not going to completely fade him, but he is projecting to maybe be the most owned golfer in this range, so I am going to be very careful. I don't mind a cheap Cantlay, but I do not like a chalky Cantlay, so I'm going to exercise caution if the ownership projections continue to peg him in that roughly 15% range. As always, one of the keys to building winning lineups is finding those value plays when you're going dumpster diving. This week, we have more dumpsters than usual. We have deeper dumpsters than usual, but that might make it harder to find that buried treasure. Luckily, we've got a guy to help us out.
Take it from me. I am a doctor. Dr. Toboggan. Mantis Toboggan.
Shout out to Dr. Mantis Toboggan. The man knows his way around a dumpster. He's got a couple of names for us on the prescription pad this week. I will say be careful. At the top of the 6K range, there are some excellent options there. Siwoo Kim, 6,900, came in 8th in the model, and Tom Kim, also 6,800, came in 18th in the model, are going to be very popular options. They're both projecting for north of 15% ownership, which is basically double anybody else, if not triple. I like them quite a bit. There's a reason they're soaking up this much ownership. Be very careful with them. I would not roster both of them in the same lineup unless you are playing a cash game or a very small single entry tournament. I know there are golfers under 6K. I would be very careful when dipping down that low. I don't mind throwing one in here or there. You don't even have to have a lot of rhyme and reason to it. You can wave stack. You can go with guys who played well on other tours, guys who've had success here in the past. There's a lot of ways you can go. But for the most part, I'm not going to be going much down below, say, the 6,500 range. There's so much to like in the 7 and 8K range this week. I just don't find myself having to jam in like 3 guys over 9K, which leads to you having to dig into the dumpster that much. So certainly exercise a bit of caution when you're dumpster diving this week. Like I said, Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim, both viable options, both looking good, but projecting for a lot of ownership. I also like Corey Connors once again here. Crucial conflict. Corey Connors, 6,800, came in 14th in the model. Let me down last week, but he's accurate off the tee. He's great with his irons, and he's a bad putter who will do a little bit better and has done better on these slow greens. He's had success on link style courses, 12th in strokes gain on links courses. He's finished tied for 10th, tied for 25th the last 2 years at the Open Championship. Willing to go back to the well at 6,800, given that he's not picking up much ownership. Then you have Eugenio Lopez Characa. Then you have Eugenio Lopez Chakara, 6,700, 115th in the model. This is pretty much from the gut. Finished tied for 52nd last week at the Scottish Open, but he passed the eye test for me. He won twice in June over on the DP Tour. Very good form, has experience on this style of courses, and he's basically picking up no ownership. Then you have JJ Spawn, 6,700, came in 23rd in the model. Absolute perfect bob here, perfect boom or bust option at this price point with ownership around 5%. Finished tied for 23rd last year in his first Open appearance. Lot to like, excellent tournament play there. Just under him, you have Sepp Straka at 6,600, came in 26th in the model. The form right now is not good at all. But over his last 3 Opens, he's finished 52nd, 22nd, and 2, picking up minimal ownership here. Not bad given the fact that he has seemed to play well in this event. Adam Scott is one of the golfers that played here back in 2017 when he finished tied for 22nd. He's 6,500, came in 22nd in the model. Probably better suited for showdown, but he's big off the tee. If bomb and gouge is working, that will help him. The irons are great. Another guy who struggles with the putter could do a little bit better on this slow surface. We'll see if it works out for him at this price point with minimal ownership. I think now is the time to take a chance. Under him, we have Ricky Fowler. Actually, at the same price, we have Ricky Fowler, 6,500, 36 in the model. This is pretty much a math play. At 6,500, less than 5% ownership. He doesn't have to win. He's been grinding here. He's made the cut, I think, 5 straight years at the Open Championship. And he was again in the field here back in 2017. Finished tied for 22nd. He's flashed a little bit at times this season. Usually picks up a lot of ownership. And that kind of makes me stay off him. He's not a golfer I want to get to when everyone else is on him. A lot of phrasing in there. But I am going to go back to the well with Ricky Fowler this week. And then finally, just under him, shout out Doc Toboggan, going back to the well with Alex Noren, 6,400, 28th in the model. Another guy without a lot of form. He's a great putter, very accurate off the tee. He's finished 13th and 23rd in his last 2 Open Championships in 2024, 2023, and he finished tied for 6th here back in 2017. Pretty much a course horse play, but again, 6,400 with minimal ownership is the kind of play I want to sign up for. So shout out to Dr. Toboggan. Bunch of names on the prescription pad for us this week. Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim, Corey Connors, Eugenio Chikara, JJ Spawn, Sepp Straka, Adam Scott, Ricky Fowler, and Alex Nora. Playing DFS isn't for everybody. Some people just want to make a couple of wagers. For that, we have Bet It, Bank It, Blow It. I'm gonna make my money. Please remember, we are not affiliated with the Draftkings Sportsbook. That's where we are getting our odds and wagers from. Everything is accurate as of Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Here on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, and Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood, our preferred currency is the Cricket coin. In Cricket, we trust, so all of our wagers are in the form of Cricket coins. First up, we have our position propositions. These are generally finishing position wagers. Last week at the Genesis Scottish Open, I went 2 for 4, booked a profit of about 135 coins. Jamie G went 1 for 4, booked a loss of about 62 coins, putting us up about 72 coins for the event. I am still getting crushed here on the season, down about 1,089 coins. Jamie G is still in the green, up about 348, putting us down about 741 cricket coins overall for the season with our position propositions. We're expanding it a little bit this week because I do think there will be a little bit of randomness, a couple of miscuts you don't see coming this week. So we have a winner wager. We're putting 25 cricket coins on. Then we have a top 5 plus ties for 50 coins, top 10 plus ties for 75 coins, top 20 plus ties for 100 coins, and then finally a make the cut wager for 200 cricket coins. Jamie G is not with me this week, but he has sent me his picks via the electronic mail. It's almost like we're working off of the same model here. For his winner wager, Jamie G is putting his 25 cricket coins on Matt Fitzpatrick. That's plus 1750, so 25 coins to bring back about 463. I love that. For his top 5 wager, Jamie G has been kissed by a rose. He's put his 50 coins on Justin Rose, top 5 plus ties. That's plus 680. 50 coins to bring back 390. And for his top 10, Jamie G likes him a little more than I do. He is going back to the Wyndham Clark, playing very, very well. 75 coins on Clark to finish in the top 10 plus ties. So that'll bring you back about 304 cricket coins. For his top 20 wager, Jamie G's going way back into time, Blackstreet style. He is going with the 2017 champion here, Jordan Spieth, to finish in the top 20 plus ties. 100 coins at plus 255 brings you back 355 coins. Being a little aggressive with it, I like it. And then finally, for his make the cut rate wager, Jamie G is going to keep the faith with Brooks Koepka. 200 coins on Brooks Koepka to make the cut at minus 210 brings you back about 295 cricket coins. For my winner wager, I really wanted to live kind of in the range between like plus 2,900, plus 3,500, right in there. You had Robert McIntyre, Cam Young, Ludwig Oberg, Victor Hovland, Terrell Hatton, Chris Goddard, and Colin Morikawa. I'm going with Colin Morikawa. It feels like everything is lining up. He's healthy. He's got the new dad thing down at this point. So I put my 25 coins to win on Colin Morikawa, plus 3,300, 25 coins to bring back 850. I said that I love him. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. 50 coins on Matt Fitzpatrick to finish in the top 5 plus ties. 50 coins to bring back about 208. He's been doing this well. He did it last year, tied for 4th. And in 3 of his last 4 events, he's finished in the top 5. Just asking him to keep the good times rolling. For my top 10 wager, I'm just going to eat the chalk, go with the bounce back here. 75 coins on Scotty Scheffler to finish in the top 10 plus ties, minus 134. 75 coins to bring back about 131. I had been going with him in the top 5. I said I was going to keep riding until the wheels fell off. All the wheels fell off last week, dropped an axle, cracked an axle, doesn't matter. Hopping back on this week, I'm going to take a lesson from DMX. I'm going to stop being greedy. So instead of top 5, going with Scotty Scheffler top 10. For my top 20 wager, I am going to go with a guy who's played very well in this event. He's in great form right now. Robert McIntyre, 100 coins on him to finish in the top 20 plus ties. That's plus 138. 100 coins to bring back 238. Excellent combination of history, form, and fit. Sign me up, please, and thank you. I struggled a bit with the make the cut wager. I thought about going pretty far down the board. I thought about going up the top and just really eating the chalk. And then I kind of split the difference. I was looking in that minus 250 range. I just didn't love some of the floor there. So I got a little bit shorter. I'm going to go with Chris Goddard to make the cut at minus 320, 200 coins. So 200 to bring it back about 263. He's one of the hottest golfers in the field right now. I had Morikawa and McIntyre in this range, but since I already used them, in interest of not doubling up here, I'm going to go with Chris Goddard, one of the hottest golfers on tour. He's won 3 times this year, finished tied for 3rd in his Open debut last year. So a lot to love here with Chris Goddard once again. Next up, we have our matchup wagers. These are your 3 balls, tournament trios, 6 shooters, tournament groups, head-to-head, all of those good stuff, those kind of things. Just pick a group of golfers, pick the best one, and it's that simple, or we hope it is. Last week, I had all of the offerings for the Genesis Scottish Open. I went 2 for 4, booked a profit of about 94 coins. Unfortunately, I am still in the red for the season, down about 614 coins. Have a handful of offerings this week. Going to start with a couple of round 1 3-balls. These have been working well for me. So again, these are round 1 only. If there is a tie, dead heat rules apply. In the first round 1 3-ball, we have Robert McIntyre plus 148, Alex Fitzpatrick plus 184, and Ricky Fowler plus 210. I like all of these golfers here, but I absolutely love Robert McIntyre. Love this matchup. So put my 100 coins on McIntyre plus 146 to bring back about 246 cricket coins. Next up, same thing. This is a round 1 only 3-ball. I have Scotty Scheffler minus 102, Terrell Hatton plus 225, Bryson DeChambeau plus 270. I'm pretty much out on Bryson, so it's just a matter of Scheffler versus Hatton. I do like Hatton quite a bit, but I like getting almost even money on Scheffler here. I really think he's going to bounce back in a strong way, even though he has struggled a bit in round 1 this season. So 100 coins on Scotty Scheffler, minus 102 brings you back about 198 coins. Next, I have a tournament long head-to-head. If there is a tie, no action on this one. Your options are Xander Schauffele at minus 130, Chris Gotterup minus 102. Schauffele has been excellent in the Open Championship over the last 5 years, but he has not shown the floor or the ceiling of Gotterup this season. So I'm going to take Gotterup here, minus 102. Once again, 100 coins to bring back about 198. And then one more, I have a tournament trio. So 3 golfers once again. If there is a tie, dead heat rules apply, and this is for the entire tournament. Golfers in this trio are Victor Hovland at plus 148, Colin Morikawa at plus 190, Wyndham Clark at plus 200. I am going with Colin Morikawa here. Love him this week, plus 190, so 100 coins to bring back 290 cricket coins. Maybe matchup wagers aren't quite as big as you're hoping to go. Don't worry, you're in luck because it is time for the parlay partay. You can make a lot of money. It's very risky, so you need a parlay to get in the door. Last week, Jamie G and I both hit. I went 1 for 2 on my parlays, booked a win of 575 coins. Only missed on that Scotty Scheffler top 5, or I would have hit both of them. Jamie G hit his only offering. He booked a profit of 1,000 coins. So together we booked a profit of 1,575 coins. So for the season now, everybody is in the green. I'm up 55 coins. Jamie G is up 100 coins, putting us up 155 overall. I have the only offerings this week, so I'm going to make up for it by giving you 3. First up, I have a 2-leg mixed finishing position parlay. Both of these are including ties. I have Scotty Scheffler going back to the well. Scotty Scheffler top 5 plus 144, and Matt Fitzpatrick top 10 plus 158. So you parlay those two together, your odds are plus 520, 100 coins to bring back 620 cricket coins. Then I'm going to go with my traditional tripod, a 3-leg top 20 parlay. Again, these are including ties. You have Chris Gotterup at plus 120, Colin Morikawa at plus 130, and Robert McIntyre at plus 138. You parlay those 3 together. Gotterup, Morikawa, Robert McIntyre, all tied for 20th or better. Your odds are plus 1,100, 100 coins to bring back 1,200. And then finally, going to shorten it down a little bit. It worked for me last week. Going to go back to the well here with a 2-leg top 20 parlay, again, including ties. Going back to Tom Kim, plus 178 to finish in the top 20, and Joaquin Niemann, plus 180. So you parlay those together. Tom Kim, Joaquin Niemann, both finish tied for 20th or better. Your odds are plus 675, 100 coins to bring back 775. I don't want to jinx this, but we have been NBA jamming a little bit, so if we're heating up, now is the time to join the partay. We like to conclude our wagers with a little bit of this or that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. These are just some fun, smaller wagers that will change throughout the season. Last week at the Genesis Scottish Open, Jamie G and I each went 1 for 5. I booked a loss of about 83 coins. He booked a loss of about 79 coins, putting us down about 163 coins for the event. For the season, I'm up about 479 coins in the this or that. Jamie G is down about 668, putting us down about 188 coins overall. First up, we have a tournament head-to-head, tournament long. If there is a tie, no action. Options are Victor Hovland minus 112, Ludwig Oberg minus 108. Jamie G and I are both taking Victor Hovland at minus 112, so 25 coins to bring back about 47. Then we have a top 10 finish at the end of round 1 wager, 25 coins on this one. Jamie G is sticking to his narrative here. He is going with Matt Fitzpatrick, top 10 or better at the end of round 1. That's plus 430, 25 coins to bring back about 133. I'm going all the way down narrative street here. I do not trust him to do anything tournament long, but give me Jordan Spieth here, plus 650, 25 coins to bring back 188. I can just see how everyone will be talking about it, especially given that he won last time the event was here. We've seen him spike this season, but he always seems to blow it. So I think it would be perfectly appropriate if Spieth rips off a great round of starts and then either misses the cut or really fades from contention. So that's my narrative streak this week. Next up, we have 25 cricket coins on a tournament group. This is Group A if you're following along over on Draftkings. 5 golfers. If there is a tie, dead heat rules apply. Your options are Scotty Scheffler at plus 176, Rory McIlroy at plus 255, Tommy Fleetwood at plus 470, John Rahm at plus 480, and Matt Fitzpatrick at plus 490. No more drama here. Jamie G and I are in concert once again, not with Mary J. Blige necessarily, but we are both with Matt Fitzpatrick, plus 490, 25 coins to bring back about 148. I think we both like a little bit of Fitz magic this week. Next up, we have our traditional Shane Lowry finishing position wager, 25 coins once again. Shane Lowry to win plus 6,100. Top 5 in ties plus 890. Top 10 in ties plus 410. Top 20 plus 188. Top 30 plus 120. Top 40 minus 130. All of those are including ties. Just to make the cut, Shane Lowry minus 235. Jamie G showing a little bit of faith here. She's going Shane Lowry, top 30, that's plus 120, so 25 coins to bring back 55. I, at this point, have him on the Dunzo list, so I'm just going to take whatever the lowest possible option is. So give me Shane Lowry to make the cut, minus 235, 25 coins to bring back about 36. He has a lot of work to do to get off the Dunzo list. It's hard to get on it, but once you're on, it is very difficult to claw your way off it. Next up, we have 25 coins on a winner without Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy wagers. So again, you take these two guys off the board. The next best golfer is the one who wins this. Once again, Jamie G is going with Matt Fitzpatrick. He's plus 1,500 here in the without market, so 25 coins to bring back 400. I really thought about going with Fitzpatrick, but I decided to mix it up, go a little bit longer here. Give me Robert McIntyre plus 2,900, 25 coins to bring back 750. Really love that number, especially in a without Scheffler, without Rory market. Then we have 25 coins on the winning margin. Your options are 1 shot plus 200, 2 shots plus 350, a playoff plus 355, 3 shots plus 590, 5 or more shots plus 680, or 4 shots on the nose plus 990. Jamie G is going with 2 shots here plus 350, 25 coins to bring back about 113. I think it's going to be a close one, baby. Maybe not a sure shot, but it will be a 1 shot. 1 shot plus 200, 25 coins to bring back 75. Then we're putting 25 coins on the winning score. Will it be under or over 267.5? Over is minus 102. Under is minus 128. Given the weather, I think it makes sense. We are both on the under 267.5 here. 25 coins to bring back about 45. Then we have, will there be a first time major winner? Yes is minus 115. No is minus 108. We are on opposite sides on this one. Jamie G has taken the yes, 25 coins at minus 115 to bring back about 47. I'm on the no, minus 108, 25 coins to bring back about 48. Pretty much just a gut call here. I think both numbers are very fair. Then we have 25 coins on the top pass champion. We have a bunch of golfers here. I think 14 former champions in the field. Jamie G is going way back. He's doing the Blackstreet thing. He's got Jordan Spieth, top former champion, plus 1,500. I'm just assuming he's diversifying his card a little bit, or maybe he's got a gut feeling about Spieth. So that's 25 coins to bring back 400. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa. Absolutely love him this week. Plus 760 as the top pass champion. So 25 coins to bring back 215. Just a much better number than Scheffler or McIlroy. I really like the value I'm getting there. Then finally, last this or that wager, we had to put 25 coins on a long shot. Options are Rory McIlroy top 5 at the end of round 1. That's plus 600. Scotty Scheffler to win plus 630. Robert McIntyre, the top UK Ireland player, plus 980. Jordan Spieth top 5 plus ties at 1150. John Rahm winner without Scheffler McIlroy plus 1425. Matt Fitzpatrick to win plus 1900, or Xander Schauffele to win plus 2500. Jamie G is going with Robert McIntyre as the top UK Ireland player, plus 980, 25 coins to bring back 270. I was sure he was going to go with Matt Fitzpatrick, but I think that's probably a nice little hedge by him. I am going to go with the Matt Fitzpatrick here. It's funny, my other option was the Robert McIntyre. Give me Fitzpatrick to win, plus 1900, 25 coins to bring back 270. The final order of business is our one and done recommendations for the Open Championship. Not a lot of big purses left. This is a pretty big one. $13 million at stake, 3.1 million to the winner. So not as crazy as some of the events we've seen this season, but still pretty big money given what we have left on the card. This is a week where you need to be very cognizant about where you are at in the standings of your one and done contest. If you're up top, it becomes all about just making the best play possible while making sure to preserve your options. If you're in the middle of the pack, you still have a chance realistically. You need to make sure that you're not eating the absolute chalk. You want to look at the guys at the top, try to make sure you're using a golfer that they don't have available, but you still need to keep at least one eye towards the future. And if you are far behind, you just have to go nuts. You pretty much have to throw everything out here, try to spike a bunch of low owned winners. It's the only hope you have. There's no penalty for taking zeros, missing cuts here. So once you get far behind at this point, it is all ceiling. Don't even worry about the floor. If you are near the top of your contest, I think within reason you can take the best golfer available, assuming you can leave yourself at least two solid options for the playoff weeks. I think if you had everybody available, it would be between Rory at plus 840 to win, John Rahm plus 1950 for me. I think both are viable here. This might be the best spot for Rory. He seems so hyper focused on the majors. I don't know if I'm going to trust him to really be invested all the way when we get to the FedEx Cup playoffs. You won't have access to Rahm there. Rahm will catch more ownership because he has been used less, and this is the last opportunity to use him. But if you're near the top of your contest, you don't have to worry about that. So I think it's a really good spot to eat that chalk. If you're in the middle of the pack, it's a little bit tricky. I think Robert McIntyre might pick up a fair amount of ownership this week, but I still think it's probably a good one to roll the dice on, given that I don't quite know where else he could possibly fit better going forward. You also have Terrell Hatton here, similar odds to win at plus 3,800. And like John Rahm, this is your last chance to use him in one and done. That might goose up the ownership a little bit. But again, if you are in the middle of the pack, still within reasonable striking distance, I think you can afford to eat a little chalk. If you are doing the candlebox thing, you are far behind. You are way behind. You're just going to have to go ahead and reach. The good news is there are so many quality options in the field that ownership will be spread out pretty far. So you don't necessarily have to dig way deep to get some low owned leverage options. I have four that I like here for you this week. You have Justin Rose, he's plus 4,100. Joaquin Neiman, talked about him, plus 5,200. If you really want to get frisky, Bryson DeChambeau plus 5,600. No one's going to be on him. And Patrick Reed plus 6,300. Again, another golfer you're not really going to have access to much going forward. So those are your one and done options we're recommending for the Open Championship. If you're near the top of your contest, consider Rory McIlroy or John Rahm. If you're in the middle of the pack, how about Robert McIntyre or Terrell Hatton? And if you are far behind, consider Justin Rose, Joaquin Neiman, Bryson DeChambeau, or Patrick Reed. Last but not least, we have to give the picks for our Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood Show One and Done contest. Last week, Jamie G padded his lead a little bit. I had been making up some ground. He picked up ground on me, though, once again with Robert McIntyre. He won about 432 grand for McIntyre's tied for third finish. I had Wyndham Clark. He was looking pretty good, but he struggled a little bit on Sunday. Wound up tied for 13th, brought me back a little bit over 153K. So Jamie G picked up almost 300,000 on me. He currently has about 16.1 million. I have about 12.5. So he is up about 3.6 million as we head down the stretch. The only good news is I have a lot more options available than Jamie G, and he is going to get frisky this week. He is going with a candlebox play here. He's taking Bryson DeChambeau plus 5,300. He did not have a lot of better plays left on the board. I'm kind of impressed that he is really swinging for the ceiling here, given his lead, but I don't know. Maybe he's flaunting it a little bit. Maybe he thinks I'm not going to catch him. Couple of ways I could go. I had Xander, Oberg, McIntyre, Hovland left available to me as my best options. I'm going to go with Robert McIntyre. Feeling it here. Jamie G used him last week. That gives me some nice leverage. I know I can probably fit Xander in a couple places. Same thing for Oberg. Same thing for Hovland. I think McIntyre, this is the best remaining fit for him on the board. Gives me a great shot at picking up some leverage. So Jamie G is going with Bryson DeChambeau. I am going with Robert McIntyre. And thank you for going on this journey previewing the Open Championship with me. I hope you come back next week. Check out Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood once again. Would greatly appreciate it. Any questions, comments, anything at all, please drop it in the comments wherever you're watching the video or listening to the pod. Once again, Birdies, Bogeys, Bushwood is presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. We're wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're on social media at Seize the Gap FF, on the web in the same place, seizethegapff.com. Try to keep it easy to remember, just like those flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had the fun, please touch that thumb. I am Magnum Mills on behalf of myself and Jamie G. Good luck this week. Hit them well, bet them well, have good lineups on Draftkings as long as you're not in the same contest as I am. We hope to see you back next week, or maybe, if you're lucky, you catch us at the 19th hole.